Welcome to Solo Travel Adventures, my sisters. Don't let fear hold you back from traveling alone. I want you to gather your courage, listen to inspiring stories, and learn how to travel solo while safely navigating new places from this show. I'm Cheryl Esch, solo travel advocate and travel coach, and I want you to have a transformative experience when you travel solo. So pack your bags, book your flight, and check one more time for that passport. It's time to explore the world. Hey, sister travelers. I'm just popping in to do a quick inspirational episode for you today. When this airs, it will be April 11th. I will be in Paris and I'll be celebrating my birthday. That is the day of my birthday. So just sending you an inspirational message today. So, question is, when is it the perfect time to travel? My answer is now. My answer is always, right? But I'd like to encourage you to stop waiting for the perfect time to travel. Now, I know with COVID, and we are way beyond that things have really started to pick up. 2023 has become a big year of travel. I mean, you talk to travel tour groups, you talk to airlines, they are noticing the huge uptake of people booking travel. So now is your time. Do not put it off. And now we're approaching also, back in January, I think a lot of us set some goals. In one of my episodes, I encouraged you to do a bucket list of places you'd like to go and then to start planning that. So hopefully you have already been kind of prepping, maybe putting some money aside. Yes, definitely putting money aside, thinking about where you want to go and then considering some of those ideas that I gave you as far as, going during the shoulder season, we call it. So it's not as expensive. Unless summer's the only time you get off and you are a teacher, then yes, I want you to book that now and commit to yourself of getting that travel in. One of the hardest parts of any journey, especially booking travel, is just stepping out, all right? Making that commitment, taking that leap. We just have to go. We just have to do this. So let me give you an example of how I have adopted this mindset of not waiting until tomorrow. We don't know when our last day here on earth is. And it's always a someday, right? And a lot of times someday never happens. And we think, oh, well, I'll plan to book that later, or I'll go there someday, right? But if we don't put some action steps in place, some planning in place, we're never going to get there. And it's always going to be this pipe dream that we think, oh, we may someday get to that trip. And I want to encourage you to really take action. So if in the beginning of the year you were really starting to budget, or you were thinking of ways to save money, or maybe you came across a really good deal, I'm going to encourage you to book it now. Okay. 2023 is the year to travel. You need to do this. There's almost every country has opened up to travelers, to tourists. Not many have restrictions anymore at all. So feel free to look at those countries that maybe were kind of closed to tourists for a while during the pandemic. But set an action plan. Here's an example, okay? We've been wanting to go to Paris, my friend and I, and we kept saying someday, and really 30 years passed with that someday, right? And I just decided we were going to book it because this was, and there's never a good time to travel. Okay. So let me just say that you always think, well, there's just not a good time. I'm busy at work, or I have this to take care of, or these to take care of, or kids to care for, or an older parent to care for. There are always ways to make accommodations. I think we like to use those as excuses for not fulfilling our dreams, for not pursuing really what we want to do, to have that joy in our life and to create those fond memories, that life-changing experience, right? Don't give me those excuses. I really want you to look and say, I'm going here, and then look to see when you can find a decent flight. So that's what we did with Paris. We decided that's it. We're going. And, I have a more flexible schedule than my friend. So, she was kind of giving some excuses in the beginning, like, hey, it's going to be a challenge for me, which is understandable. She has a child that still lives with her, who is on the spectrum, and so needs some extra attention, can't be living on his own. So there's a lot for her to juggle. And then, of course, we all have jobs that we need to, figure out, can I get the time off? So making those arrangements definitely is something to think about, but it's doable, right? We can figure it out. We can do this. So I encourage you, like we did with Paris, I just booked the flights. Now you might think, well, I don't have the money put aside. So here's what I did. I had the money for the flights, which was great. So I paid for the flights. And then I did some research on how much I think I would need per day during my travels. And so the next 4 months from after I booked that flight for 4 to 5 months, I started putting away a certain amount of money each month, knowing that this is what I'm going to need when I get to my travels, right? And I actually accomplished that. So I have the money I need, so I'm not going into debt for this trip. Now, maybe you have some money put aside, or if you don't, then, think about putting some money aside per month. If you have the money for the airfare, like I did, book it, get it booked, right? And let's get that in place. Let's get that plan put in place for you to get to that destination that your heart so desires to get to. So, ladies, sisters, I am encouraging you, please do not put it off. Don't wait for someday. Okay, because there's never a good time to travel, right? Our lives are very busy. We have lots to do. And so travel can seem almost like a chore or inconvenient, but it doesn't have to be. And if we make it a priority, we look at it as a joyful situation, then we're going to want to plan these escapes like all the time, right? So I encourage you, stop waiting for someday and stop thinking that there's never a good time to travel. And there is. Right now, 2023, as I said, is the year of travel. So let's get out there, ladies. Go ahead and book that travel. Take that leap and go on that adventure. And I'm going to see you. It's going to air here on the 11th. Please try to catch me live on Instagram, Solo Travel Adventures 50 on Instagram. I'm going to be in Paris on my birthday, so I want to kind of come to you live and just show you what is happening there. And again, this was a trip that we kept saying someday to, right? And someday has arrived. And it just took a little leap of faith on my part and my friend's part to just book it and know that it was coming up and not waiting for someday. And also pushing past the idea that there's never a good time to travel, that travel is inconvenient. But we want to take that leap and go ahead and book that adventure, ladies. Hey, sister travelers, did this podcast inspire and encourage you or move you to get out there and travel? Wonderful. There are 3 ways you can thank me. First one is leave a written review for the show on Apple Podcast. 2, share the show with your sister travelers, your friends, your family. And 3, subscribe to the show so you never miss an episode. And thank you again for listening to the show. Sisters, be fearless, take the leap, and get out there and have an adventure.